Hmm. Reason for the season, Gmo.
Huh?
Nothing.
Smell like a man? I know, right?
Like
I use.
Yeah.
Oh, how old is he? Like 14.
Oh, he's a baby. Huh? He's a baby.
What are we? 8?
Huh?
8.
I'm better on the horse since show. I love her. Yeah. Is it just them?
Okay, so 14 through 20. We got this. Really? Can you guys see that okay? Kind of? We're going to redo it anyway, so. Sharing screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're not sharing the screen. We don't need to share the screen.
I know you're talking.
Okay. Starting with number 14. Grab a couple other colors. I like the colors. All right, number 14 says, a line passes through these 2 points, -2, -2, and then 2 and 18. So we could still use the point slope formula to figure out our equation. Or we could do it another way, but so we have 2 points. So we don't have a point and a slope, but since we have 2 points, we can figure out the slope, right? How do you figure out the slope between these 2 points?
That equation fraction.
Is it like y2, y1, x2, x1,
Right,
whatever,
x2.
minus whatever?
So you're finding the distance. In math, it's important to remember that distance means the same thing as difference. Okay, the difference of y's and the difference of x's. Okay, so let's see. It doesn't matter what order you go because the negatives will cancel or deal with itself, right? So 18 minus -2 over 2 minus -2. Just make sure you're consistent. So don't go 18 minus -2 and then -2 minus 2. All right. So this chicken scratches and you're left with 20 over 4, which is just 5. So now you have your slope. So but we're not quite there. We have this, but we don't know what this is yet. So that's our B. So how do we find B? Anybody know? Besides, this is another way to do it.
You can just graph it and see where.
You could graph it.
Intercepts y.
Yep. You could graph it, but starting at one of these points and then graph it and see where it crosses the y-axis, or just plug in one of these points to the x and y. So I'm going to do that. Boom, boom. So -2 equals 5 times -2 plus b. So -2 equals -10 plus b. B has to be +8. Okay, so now my slope. Now I have my slope and intercept. This is intercept, this is slope. So y equals mx, or slope x, plus b, which is -8. So I could have, once I got the slope, then I could have used the point slope formula, which is y minus a y value. Okay, so I'm going to say -2, just to keep my numbers low, equals slope times x minus x value. Right? I just plugged in one of those coordinates. You could have done the same thing with 2 and 18. You would have gotten the same answer. So let's see, that's y plus 2 equals 5x plus 10. So get rid of the 2, y equals 5x plus 8. So what did I do wrong? Oh, that's a positive 8. Yeah, so those are right. Does that make sense? Can you do it with one of those? Can you guys handle that? All right.
Yeah, that's a lot to handle. I can handle it.
Not just on this test that you're not taking, but just in the future, can you guys do a problem like this? You guys
For
feel
sure.
okay with that?
Yeah,
sure.
I
Okay.
don't know.
All right.
That's great.
Okay, number 15. Multiply, yay. So there's a shortcut. You don't have to do the shortcut. You can write it out like this. And just FOIL it out, right? Okay, or the shortcut is just square that. So 9y squared, square that. So that's positive 49. Okay, and then double this product. So 7 times 3y, it's -7 times 3y is -21y, and then double it, you get -42y. But if you don't want to do the shortcut, that's fine. Let's just FOIL it out. So that's 9y squared minus 21y minus another 21y plus 49. So now the shortcut kind of makes sense. Yeah, you multiply these two things together, and then there's two of the same thing, so you double it. So either way, you're going to get that. Okay? Everybody good with FOILing stuff? So you got to be good with FOILing stuff. Number 16, simplify cubed root of a negative number. That's fine. But to find a square root of a negative number, that's imaginary numbers, which we're going to talk about soon. I'm very excited about that. But you can cube root a negative number because a negative times a negative times a negative could equal a negative. But a negative times a negative can equal a positive. Or a negative times a negative can equal a negative. Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
Thank you. All right, everyone's going to see me mark you tardy on here.
That's really awkward.
That's okay.
I just assumed he was gonna hand you the tardy slip and mark it.
You get it.
Okay, Silas, you do not have to take the test today because you already have an A in the class. So,
I don't.
so
You know, I haven't checked my grade in like months.
Wait, so if you have an A, we don't have to take the test today?
correct.
Do I have to?
Because I'm going to drop your lowest test grade.
We don't take it?
Wait, you dropped my lowest test grade?
Yeah. Wait.
And so this is what I'm dropping is this
Wait, so I
test.
have an A, so I don't have.
Wait,
Oh,
so we don't
All
have
right.
to do the test
Guys.
before Thursday?
You don't
You
have to
don't
take it.
Let's not
I'm so
celebrate
confused.
because we're making Audrey feel poopy.
I'm sorry.
And now I just set it on Zoom. So sorry, Audrey's taking the test only because she wants to. She has like 138% in this class.
That's like right.
Okay, so what times itself 3 times equals -27?
3 times.
So what times itself equals
I wanna
negative?
say 9. That's wrong.
Yeah,
No,
you should be
it's
taking this test.
I know, right?
Are you not?
No.
kinda
What
your
times
choice.
itself
I'm
3
good at
times, not what times 3 is -27. What times itself 3 times is -27,
Oh, I was
Negative
supposed to say
3,
on-
right? Because -3 times -3 times -3 will equal -27. All right, number 17. Okay, let's get a full screen on this. This is exciting. we're gonna solve for this system of equations, and it's 3 variables. So this is gonna take a bit. X plus y plus z equals 6. And then we've got 5x plus 2y plus z equals 3. So 3x plus 3y plus z equals 6. Okay, so we've got 3 equations with 3 variables, which means we can solve this. All right. If you have 3 variables and only 2 equations, you can't do it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to suggest getting rid of the z's in 2 different ways. Okay. So if I negate this middle equation, or let's just negate the top equation. All right. So this becomes a negative x plus negative y plus negative z equals negative 6. So far, so good? All right. So now I'm going to forget about this temporarily. So now if I add, and let's label this equation 1, label this equation 2, and this is equation 3. Okay? So if I add 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3, what do I get? I get 2x plus 2y equals 0.
Pretty
So
sure
far,
2
so-
plus 3 is 5.
No, I'm doing 2 and 3 right now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to add 1 and 2 together, or 1 and 3 together, because that way those z's will cancel there too. So if I cancel z's in 2 different ways, then I have 2 equations with 2 variables. Okay, so 1 and 3 will equal 4x plus y equals negative 3. See what I did? I just added these 2 together for the bottom one, and I added these 2 together for this one. All right, so now I've got 2 equations with 2 variables. So I can use substitution or elimination here. Let's use substitution just so we can do both here. So y is almost by itself. So I'm going to bring this x over here. So y equals negative 4x minus 3. All I did was bring the 4x over here. And there's already a negative 3 there. So now I'm going to plug this sucker in right there. So then I get 2x plus 2y equals 0. Right? I just plugged that in for y. You could have used elimination again if you wanted to. You would have to multiply this by negative 2 or something, or this by negative 2. You would cancel the x's. All right, so let's simplify and solve this equation. 2x plus negative 8x minus 6 equals 0. So this is negative 6x equals 6, because I just added 6 to both sides and then combine those like terms. So x equals negative 1. All right. Now we have to backward substitute everything else. So if x equals negative 1, then that means y equals positive 4 minus 3 is 1. And if y equals 1 and x equals negative 1, let's go to our original ones here. Negative 1, 1 plus z equals 6. So that means z equals 6. Let's make sure it works in everything else. X equals negative 1, so negative 3 plus positive 3 is 0, plus 6 is 6. Let's make sure it works here. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3, plus positive 6 is positive 3. It works. Okay? That was nice. But it took a while. It takes a while. So if you can get one of those variables, then you can kind of substitute it in and figure out the rest. So there's multiple ways to do this. There's like over 20 different ways to do this, because there's even another way to do this with matrices. But that's number 17.
So there's more than just Kramer's rule.
Yeah, so Kramer's rule applies to 2 by 2 matrices,
Oh, it doesn't
Okay.
work with
or 2 equations with 2 variables, right? And so you end up with 2 by 2 matrices. But there's more methods for like a 3 by 3 matrix. So basically 3 variables. And actually it's a 3 by 4 matrix because you have the constants as there.
And that's not just a version of Kramer's rule, it's like a complete.
It's not, it's completely different. So
Kramer didn't think ahead.
thank you. All right. Everybody watch me mark Delaney late too. Everybody had to watch me mark Silas late.
That's me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mark you late.
Drew's like, tore me late.
Well, where are we? Okay. All right, number 18, find the determinant. All right. Let's find the determinant. So what do we do? Well, let's draw this up here. 2, 2, -1, 3, 2, 5. I have a test waiting for you. If you want to be on your phone, I can give you a test. You can take the test today.
Don't do this to me.
Dude, welcome back to school.
I don't want to be here. Well, I do actually. I want to be here, but like.
Okay,
my mind isn't.
If
I'll
you're
be off
here,
my
then
phone.
you have to be off your phone.
I'll be off my phone.
Okay, so the determinant of this, this is where you do like 3 different problems and it's crazy messy, but first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna multiply 2 times this matrix, right? Because if you eliminate the row that 2's in and the column that 2's in, you're left with that, and you have to do the determinant of that matrix, okay? So it's 2 times this determinant, which is, let's just write it out, okay. All right, and then you got this 2 times this matrix, right? Because when you eliminate this column and this row, you're left with this 2 by 2 matrix, but you're subtracting this, so it's -2 times the determinant of the 3, 5, -3, 7 matrix. Then you got one more, you got this -1 times this matrix. And you're adding that -1. So you subtract the middle one. So adding 1 times the 3, 2, -3, 4 matrix. Okay, so let's do that. So that's 2 times 14 minus 20 is -6. And then 2 times 21 minus -15 is adding to a positive 36. And then -1 times 12 minus -6, so 12 plus 6 is 18. So then you're left with -12 minus 72 minus 18. So that's 90, so what is that, -102? Is that what you guys got? Something like that. Okay, so lots of ways to mess this up. So be careful. Lots of detailed work. It's not difficult. It's just remembering what number goes where and finding the determinant and stuff like that is you can get lost pretty easily. All right, number 19. A rectangular room is 10 feet long, 15 feet wide. 10 feet long, 15 feet wide. Got a visual. Good. A builder will increase both dimensions by the same amount, okay? So let's see here. When you do that, you get 10 plus x, 15 plus x. So we don't know what that amount is. So, and then it says result in a room that has twice its original floor area. Well, the original floor area is 150, right? So twice that floor area would be 300. So basically, I'm going to find the area of my new rectangle, and it has to equal 300. And then it says, write and solve an equation to find out how much the builder increased. So basically, you're finding x, because x is how much they increase the dimension. Okay, so we're going to just FOIL this out. Look at this. FOIL it out. We get 150 plus 15x plus 10x plus x squared equals 300. Add the x's. So x squared plus 25x plus 150 equals 300. Okay, bring that 300 over here. We're going to solve by factoring. Hopefully we can solve by factoring. I think we can. So everything goes on the left side with 0 on the other. So you bring a 300 over to the negative, to the 150, and you end up with negative 150. So x squared plus 25x minus 150 equals 0. Now we factor. So what factors of negative 150 will subtract 225? You guys know? $30 and $5, right? So positive 30 and negative 5. So x plus 30, x minus 5 equals 0. Right? Magic question, what two numbers multiply to get that and then add to get that? All right, well, this is out of the question because you can't have a negative dimension, right? He didn't increase it if it was negative 30. So x is just 5. So if you said x equals negative 30 or positive 5, that's fine. But then see how negative 30 doesn't make sense in this real life situation. So the only option is 5, whatever that is, feet. Okay, that was a cool question.
If you increase both sides a negative amount, it would end up being positive 300.
All right, let's just take a second and think about that. That just solves the quadratic. It doesn't mean it, because if it just solves the quadratic equation, it doesn't really answer the question. Because if you're just staying in the math world, then the positive dimensions don't really matter. But that's why usually when you do these problems, you eliminate one of those options, one that doesn't make sense. Okay, number 20. Solve the inequality and graph the solution set. So I'm just going to write it right up here. So let's write it. 3x plus 2 is less than 5, or 5x minus 7 is greater than 8. Well, let's just solve these separately. So minus 2, 3x is less than 3, x is less than 1. Okay, what about this? Add 7, 5x is greater than 15, x is greater than 3. Okay, so on a number line, we've got a 1, we've got a 3. That's the easy part. Now we have to decide how we graph it. And it looks like they're both less than and greater than. They're not less than or equal to, greater than equal to. So I'm going to circle the 1 and the 3. And then I'm going to shade left of 1 and right of 3. So this is definitely an or. So that means see how they go in different directions. So if they come towards each other, it'd be an and statement. But that was nice. Number 20 kind of did the confusing work already for you, and you just had to solve those separate inequalities and graph them like you've been doing since pre-algebra. Okay? You guys feel okay? You feel all right? Okay.